be back later in the show. Too old for this. Clubs can go from techno-pop to minimalist avant-garde, whatever that means. Somewhere in between is a stripped-down, pure approach to rock and roll taken by our next guest. You heard them earlier. Now let's meet the members of R.E.M. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, you got a good reception over there. Now, is Peter Buck?
Yeah.
Peter, introduce the members of the band.
This is Mike Mills, he's the bass player.
Uh-huh.
Bill Berry, the drummer.
Bill.
Michael Stipe, the singer.
Michael.
And me, Peter Buck.
Good sounds that you come out with. Now, I went to University of Georgia, went to 4 years in Athens, Georgia. A lot's happened. Why is there so much underground there in Athens? What's happening there in Athens, Georgia?
Well, nothing. And everyone wants to do something. You know, form a band, go to a party.
So you're creating your own energy down there.
Sure.
You sound Californian there. But you really are sounding, I heard that you got together initially just to play one party. Is that right?
We were friends and we wanted to do something that was fun. And that seemed like probably the funnest thing we could do rather than have a sewing circle or, you know,
quilting bee or something. Yeah.
Go watch the football games. So, yeah. You know, a lot of people form bands and they break up overnight. You know, they'll play 2 times and we've all been in them, you know, since this band has started just for fun. We'll play with, you know, members of Pylon or Love Tractor. It's just, you know, entertainment.
Yeah. Well, it must have gotten very serious for you because you've been playing really in an alternative route. You didn't go the sort of, which I would think is an easier route, going to the FM recording, FM studio and getting your records out there that way. You went to club scene, really knocking your music out through clubs. Isn't that a hard way to go?
Yeah. It's the only way to go when you're awful, but because we really were. It took 3 years of thrashing it out in little dumpy clubs to get where we are now, which is still not that great.
But we've had stand-up comics that come on and say you really have to knock it out, and that's what you're really doing with a live audience. You
take your knocks, that's for sure.
Well, that's what rock and roll is really all about, is playing live in front of people, and that's what we enjoy doing the most.
Is that why you have such a, well, it's just a classic rock and roll, you know, the bass, the guitar, the lead singer, and the drums.
We had to carry it around, when so we weren't going to carry it any more than we had to.
Yeah, so, and you really don't want to get into synthesize or other things that are more, that a lot of people, other bands are getting into. You want to keep it
Plenty of other people doing that, so we can...
It's too complicated. I don't think we could handle, you know, things you have to plug in and work with like that. Guitar's simple.
How have you kept the, I'm using the word loosely, have you kept the faith in what you're doing with all the knocks you've had to take in the clubs?
We just enjoy it. You know, this is our hobby, and if we weren't successful at all, we'd still be doing it somehow. You know, we'd be working the record store still and then playing Friday nights at the local clubs. You know, it's just kind of escalated to the point where we can do it all the time, which is fine with us. But it's not really a matter of keeping the faith. As long as you enjoy what you're doing, you know, success doesn't really matter one way or another.
Is the club scene an alternative now to FM radio?
Somewhat.
Yeah, they go kind of hand in hand in a way, and that people go see the bands and clubs that they do here on the radio. But in some of the smaller clubs, you don't have to have a contract or a record out at all. We came to New York, we played the Danceteria, talked to Rudolph today, talked to a lot of places, played a lot of places that, you know, no one had ever heard of us. People would just show up just to see what was happening. And that's what's good about the clubs. People will take a chance seeing a band that they've never, you know, heard of before.
Yeah, I've heard that FM is really locked up for a lot of bands just starting out, and it's a good way to break in. Yeah, let me get over here and get some questions here. I've got a microphone over here somewhere. You see a microphone here? Yeah, I'll leave it up there. Ah, great. Yeah, let me get with your question.
Who writes the songs?
We write them all together. It's a group composition thing. We just sit around and make noise until something comes up that's entertaining.
Yeah.
Why R.E.M?
Why not?
We couldn't think of anything else.
All the good names have already been taken, so we got stuck with this one.
We wanted a name that wouldn't put us in any particular category musically. And at the time when we got together 4 years ago, bands pretty much didn't have names that were just letters. Now it's pretty commonplace, but it doesn't mean anything.
Did you know each other before you started the band? How did you get together?
Not really. We met at parties, but we didn't know each other very well.
Yeah, I did.
We were
That was it.
high school buddies.
Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, I just question back here.
What clubs have you played at? If any?
What?
What clubs have you played at?
Around here we played at Danceteria and the Ritz and Maxwell's.
The Mud Club.
The Mud Club. All kind of stuff. And one in Yonkers that was real good.
Something in Brooklyn. Where was that place?
Oh, Zappas. We played Zappas. That was great.
What kind of music do you consider yourself making?
Rock and roll, I guess. You know,
Pure rock and roll?
If you come up with a really good phrase, we'll use it. We haven't found one that really suits us yet.
Okay.
Everyone have you got a good expression for it? Rock and roll, is that it?
Rock and roll,
Rock
yeah.
and roll, yeah. There really isn't. I get everyone's always trying to pin labels on everyone else, I guess, but it's rock and roll. Yeah. Yeah. I had a question back up here. Yeah.
We've been watching all this like trendy stuff, all these people in these high fashion clothes. What do you think about all that? Because they relate it to the music. It doesn't seem to have any, like all the clothes doesn't seem to have anything to do with the music. What do you...
It's like slam dancing. It's you're either for it or you're not. You know?
Well, it can be a lot of fun, and I'm all for, you know, whatever makes people happy, but it's, you know, rock and roll is a very emotional thing, and you should just do it and have fun at that. And if you want to dress up, that's fine, too.
And you don't seem compelled to want to go into glitter yourself or anything.
I thought it was.
No, really, you just basically, you know, there's never been a movement to get uniforms or anything else for yourselves?
No, I don't think there's anything we could agree on that we'd like to wear, so.
This is the American look.
The American look. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. You have a question? Yeah. Oh, you had a question. I'm sorry.
What does R.E.M. stands for?
Well, if you look in the dictionary, it means rapid eye movement, and that's a time when you dream, when you're asleep. Our name doesn't necessarily have to mean that. We just did want something short and concise.
Does the music you play sort of like wear you out when you're like doing a concert or something?
Actually, no, that's about the only time that we feel really alive, because when you're on the road a long time, everything else wears you out. Driving, you know, not sleeping, not eating. But being on stage is really an energizing effect.
Yeah.
Where did you do your first performance?
We lived at a church, Michael and I, in Athens. It was an old abandoned church, and we threw a party for someone, a birthday party, bought a bunch of beer and played all night. It was just a fun thing.
And it all grew out of that. Yeah, one last
I've
question.
been listening to your music for a long time, and I really like it, but I still am having trouble trying to figure out your lyrics. Is there any way, like, you know, you can get a copy of them or something?
We don't hand out copies of the lyrics.
It's because they change every time we play.
Yeah, they're always changing. We're kind of against that. The words to the songs are as much a part of the song as the bass, and there's no reason really to separate the two.
Ideally, you should just listen to the songs and just intuitively feel what they're about. Get your own impression of the songs rather than kind of being beaten on the head by a story or something.
Well, and also, you're a classic club band, and that is the performance itself, so that could change, unlike a recording band that it's frozen in a moment in time.
Sure, you know, the songs on the record are just the way they were that day, and they're, you know, different now.
This is your latest album, R.E.M. Murmur, and you'll be back in just a moment. Close out the Livewire with a song. Thank you very much, R.E.M. Thank you.